this is the basic stand-up sweep from single leg X. This is going to be the main attack you're going to do once your opponent decides to drop to one knee. Okay. So I find typically when I'm trying to threaten the double pant grip a lot, they'll go so wide that they'll drop their knee to the floor like this, okay? In order to avoid me knocking back and tilting. They have a little bit more balance here and more security on their knee. The downside of them being on their knee is they have reduced mobility and reduced ability to put weight on you very quickly like they would if they were standing. So I feel like for my game, this is the perfect opportunity to do like a technical stand-up sweep, just the basic bread and butter sweep that you would do from like a single leg X position, okay? So once they drop their knee to the floor, what I'm gonna look to do is control the collar and load them, like kind of put their weight on their hand with this and just make sure that they don't stand up really quickly. Because if I'm reaching here and underhooking and stuff, they're free to just push off the ground and stand up again, and I have to switch back to what I was doing before, okay? So I load them here, I hang my weight, like I'm doing like a tricep extension in the gym, if you guys ever hit the gym or anything, okay? So I'm going here like this, and then I'm gonna underhook this near side leg I'm controlling. I'm just gonna lean my body away and make a little space between my ribs and the leg. So I'm just going here. The back of my hand is coming under, and then I'm underhooking right on the ankle, and I'm kind of making a bite on his calf, okay? So I'm making sure it falls in the crook of my forearm and my bicep, and I'm squeezing, and I can feel the pinch on his calf, and then I'm controlling the material, and I'm clamping down. And this is where this grip is gonna stay for the most part. I might shrug it a little bit to get a little bit more tilt in the sweep to make it more effective, but I don't extend this away, okay? So this is where it remains, all right? Now, once I get this underhook, I'm not gonna bring my foot inside. Like this feels very intuitive. If you're gonna kick somebody away, it makes sense to bring both hooks in and start to extend them away and things like that. But what I find is when I start to bring my leg inside, they either stand up immediately to try to backstep while I'm vulnerable and I don't have this foot on the hip, or they otherwise are like, their defense response is triggered, okay? Almost like they're flinching or they're guarded now because they feel really vulnerable, okay? So I've started to learn to attack my stand-up sweep without triggering this response by just keeping my foot right here on the ribs and using this foot on the ribs and my bottom leg to push their weight away from me, okay? So all I'm gonna be doing is using this bottom leg on the ribs, this shin on his hamstring, push his weight away, and at the same time, I'm bringing my elbow as high behind me as I can, and I'm building up my base, okay? So I'm going here, like this. And now my bottom leg is keeping him away, and my top leg is going behind me, okay? And then I'm gonna start to do my technical stand-up just to my knees. Don't try to stand up right away, okay? Because when people make the mistake of standing up right away, they go here and they don't actually have good balance. So when the person pushes into them, there's nothing behind them and they fall back down, okay? So you wanna kick and then look how I'm just up to my knee first and I have my foot behind me. So now when he pushes back into me, I have good balance and I can start standing up and being the one to stand up first, okay? He starts to drop his knee, hang on the collar, lean. I get my underhook. I'm controlling the material and I'm creating a good bite here, okay? Don't bring your foot inside, just keep it here and extend his weight away and build up to your base. And another thing you can do to make it easier to sweep, just stay right here, Connor, with your leg straight, just like this. Come up on your knee. When you sweep, the higher you lift this leg, the more weight that it's gonna dump into his other leg. So it's gonna be harder and harder for Connor to stand up and base and be mobile quickly if I shrug this leg a little bit and start to tilt more weight onto that leg, okay? So what I like to do, without straightening my arm so the leg passes off, my particular leg passes off, I'm just gonna do like this and lift and keep my head like right here blocking. And this is gonna just make it a little bit easier for me to get up first, okay? And then I'm bringing my leg back, and then I start to stand. If you feel like he's gonna stand with you, you can control the collar and keep loading his hand just like we did before. So I'm just doing this. And then I start to stand, but I keep him heavy, like driving my weight down into his hand. So this is gonna allow me to stand up first. A lot of times though, when you get good at this sweep, because like we talked about, like they're not as mobile as when they're standing, you're gonna push them over their leg and they're gonna fall like right away, okay? It's gonna be hard for them to get up to their feet from this position. When you explode into them sideways, it's really hard for them to get up, okay? So one more time from this side. You can drop your knee. There we go. Boom. Load, underhook, get a nice bite here. Oh, another detail here, guys. The reason I keep this low on my bicep, this is kind of an important concept. Whenever I'm kicking and standing up, he's always, even though he's on his knee, doesn't matter, he's always gonna push weight back into me. And that's kind of like, that's the whole thing we're trying to defeat in order to get to our feet and like sweep them. All right, that's our main like adversary in these technical stand-up sweeps, is me trying to get up and him trying to push his weight back into me and make me go back down, okay? So if I load his leg really high, which is really common, like this, when I actually stand up, it's gonna be really effective because his leg's gonna be up on my shoulder. It's really nice. However, when I'm actually trying to fight to stand up, he can push his weight like in a more effective place. Like it's farther on the lever, which is my body. So when I start to get up and he's pushing at this point, it drives me down easier. It's like if you're trying to jack up a car and you're holding really close to the base of the jack and you're trying to jack it up, it's really, really difficult. But if you hold right at the end of the lever, you have so much more leverage, it's gonna be really easy. So we wanna reverse engineer that. We don't want him to be grabbing really high on the lever and putting all this leverage at the highest point on our body when we're trying to defeat that. We want it to be low near our hip so that we can get up, and then he's not going to be able to drive us back down before we build up base, okay? So this is the reason for making sure that it stays like low in the crook of your elbow like this. This is going to make a huge difference, okay? So I'm going to explode, come up to my elbow, bring my leg behind me. As I'm standing up, I can load his collar, and then I'm lifting his leg and I'm walking like in a circle and forcing him down, okay? So this is the main sweep you're gonna be attacking when they're on their knees. This is the first thing I'll start setting up. As soon as they drop their knee, I'm looking to underhook and I'm looking to attack this sweep. Yeah, this is the basic stand-up sweep from single leg X.